Alright, we're going to do a nice little Zenith radio here. This is called a Boomerang radio. It has that kind of boomerang shaped front. We've got original knobs with it, and everything's original. It's in pretty bad shape. It's not not horrible, but the veneer's all solid. But it's cracked and crazed. I think that some restore finish will do it. The bezel has to be taken off and polished up, and the plastic has to be. The dial, the grill cloth looks good. That looks original and good and solid. We can save that. All right, let's get the chassis out. Take a look at it. I've already pulled the screws out of the bottom. Okay, we'll set this aside. We'll do it outside later. That's not too awful dirty. Okay, it hasn't been worked on. It's not been worked on. It's got all the original capacitors and stuff. Ugh. The dial doesn't work, which means needs dial cord work. Yeah, not fun. Okay, line cord is shot. I had plugged it in to see if it worked, and it didn't. And the line cord, they break. You know, they flex right there, and this one here I could tell was shot because there was no resistance to bending it. It's just the rubber holding it, and the wires had broken long ago. Alright, so we had to put a new line cord on it. Good idea anyway. Alright, let me go get another line cord, nice brand new one. Alright, got a new cord here, brand new. Alright, stick that through the two holes. Okay, now let me cut capacitor here. I'm going to set the ohmmeter on the highest scale. $20 megs. Hey, you know, I'm not going to change capacitors that don't need it. You know, leave it as original as possible. All right. What we have to do is we have to look at the capacitor that goes to the grid of that power tube. If that one's leaking, we have doom. Let's look at this one. Oh, no, we're on the wrong scale. Okay. Megohms. Way up. In spite of being cheap paper capacitors, these are not leaking. This one's reading above 30 megohms. It's the highest the damn ohmmeter will go. And this is a real ohmmeter. I use a 630. It has a 30 volt battery in it on the high scale. So you apply 30 volts onto the capacitors. That'll show you leakage that these little digital jobs won't. The little digital meters you get nowadays apply a few volts on the capacitor. It's not enough to make the leakage show up. But when you put 30 volts on them, that's enough. Pretty much any capacitor that's leaking is going to show up with 30 volts on it. You know, the difference between 30 and 100 volts, which is the normal B plus on this radio, is not going to cause the leakage to be any different. So with this meter, you can detect the leakage. Okay. Some people will say you got to hook them all onto a capacitor checker and run them up to, you know, full B plus. But all right, now we're getting some illumination in the thing. It's pulling. Uh-oh. It was showing about 30 watts there for a second, but then all of a sudden it went out. All of a sudden it went out. That means we lost a tube. All right, we will measure the 35Z5. That's the fuse tube. Okay, it's in good shape. The next most likely to go out is the 50L6. They're high voltage tubes, so they have the finest filament wire. Oh, good, good. Okay. All right, let's try again. There it goes. One of them is screwed. There's a screwed tube in here somewhere. Because it pulls power for just a fraction of a second and then drops to zero. There's one other possibility. Some of these radios run the filament string through the pilot lights. They use the pilot lights themselves as a fuse. And if they're burned out, you will get nothing. All right, that one's okay. That looks good. It ain't. 47. Let's see what we can do. 47, huh? What do you mean? That's a big bunch of bulbs, huh? That's a big bunch of bulbs? Doesn't seem like it. Hey, you'll have nutterbacks if you don't have ones in there. Here we go. That looks good. Nope, 1815. That's 12 volt one. There's lots of 47s in here, though. There's one, 47. Is it any good? It is good. Okay. Let's read the line now. On. Now we get connection. Okay. So what they do, they connect all the filaments in series, and they hook it in series with the pilot lights. And those pilot lights serve as the fuse if something goes wrong. Well, here it goes. Yeah.
I've heard of your woman. Say that. You'll go, who knows? I may cry or whatever. All right, welcome back to the program. Hey, coming up.
All right, so the radio's working. We don't have to do any work on the chassis. All those capacitors in there are good, but we do have a bad bulb here. I don't know why that one's not lighting up. Okay, let me look at it. It's a good bulb. It's a good bulb. Means it's got to be this socket. Huh. Isn't that something? It's contacting, I can tell. But it sure isn't lighting up. This bulb reads good, but it's not lighting. Alright, let me get a power supply. Alright, I'm going to set this to 6 volts. Alright, 6 volts. It's not the right bulb. This is a low voltage bulb. Not a number 47. Ah, that's what it was. That other one was like a 2-volt bulb. When they're in series, they have to have the same resistance, or else one of them will not light. The other one will take all the voltage. Okay, there we go. Now we got the lights going. We got everything going. All right, now we got a problem. When we try to go, no, that's going. I was trying to turn it just a while back and it wasn't going, but it's going now. It wasn't going all the way. It would get to a certain point and then stop. But it's doing good right now. Nope. See, it don't go. I'm stuck. See, now it won't go either way. All right, so the dial stuff is screwed up. Okay, we got to take this and figure out. All right, that. Oh God, no. It's got 2 dial strings on it. One of them's on the condenser, and the other one is on the dial. Oh. Okay, I've got to get. That means I've got to get the front panel off. Okay, got to take it off no matter what. All right, these 2 right here. Let's see. Okay, we've got this one loose, so we'll put it on after the fact. Okay, that looks good. That is in perfect shape there. We'll spray it with lacquer to keep it in good shape. Okay, now we have 2 things we're going to fix. One of them is this speaker that's screwed up, and the other is this condenser, tuning condenser here. Okay. All right, this dial cord we save. That's the one that goes around and catches the pointer. Okay. Oh yeah. Come on. Come on, baby. Oh, you kitty. I knew you'd figure a way to get over here. I knew you would. Yeah. Yes, kitty. Yes, kitty. Oh, come on, get in my lap. Okay, you sit right there. Okay. Okay. Next thing we got to do is the speaker. Okay, to do that, we take rubber cement and we just paint the whole thing. That'll take it and glue it all back together and make it flexible. So we use rubber cement because rubber cement remains flexible. You don't want to use a hard cement like model cement, plastic cement, or anything like that, because it'll harden up and the speaker will sound like a tin can. But with this rubber cement, it stays flexible, so the cone flexes beautifully, and yet the cement holds the fibers of the paper together, and it'll last forever. Okay, and we'll put another layer around the outside where it flexes the most. This is weldwood contact cement, rubber cement. Okay, now this, to clean this, there's only one thing that'll take care of that. You got to use a chlorinated solvent. Acetone won't do it, lacquer thinner won't do it. The only thing that does it is this chlorinated solvent. It liquidates that rubber cement completely. It's a brake parts cleaner. It's in the red can, non-flammable. All right, now we're going to let that dry, and then we'll go ahead and put the front back on it, and that's going to fix that. This thing's all painted up. The speaker's in good shape, nice and flexible, and the crack is fixed. Okay, now this is back on here. Here. Okay. I can see how they punched a hole through there. The bottom one is on, and the top one. Okay, now I've got to move this around, and then I've got to get it through the gap. Okay, that looks extremely good. Okay, the dial turns perfectly. That gets the entire chassis done. Okay, the next thing we got to do is the box. Okay, it is a little bit rough. Now, the box is crazed. All of the wood is got a crazing to it that makes it to where we're probably going to have to strip it. We'll try using some of the finish liquefier. We might be able to save it, but it's not too good of an idea. It's probably going to have to be stripped. Okay, we got to get all this out of here first. We'll just take a pair of cutters and we'll go down in here. This is put in with nails. And I'll just, yeah. See, they're just kind of carpet tacks, and I just pull them out. Okay. All right. The grill cloth is put in with staples. We use the same pliers, and just grab the staple and pull it out. Okay. This has to be polished up. Alright, we'll save that. And this has to be polished up. We'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. We can always put a brand fresh piece of cloth on there. We've got plenty of it. Okay, that gets the box ready to be worked on. Alright, let's get some, first we're going to get some, we're actually down to bare wood in a lot of places. So some of it's going to have to be stripped. The top looks okay. We'll try liquefying that without stripping it. We'll just strip these sides here. These are solid wood. They're not veneer. We'll see what this does. It may not have to be stripped. These are not down to bare wood. So we'll get some liquefier and we'll see what happens. Now, this is pure lacquer thinner, and we just take it and start rubbing, and it's going to liquefy the finish. Okay, the finish is now liquefied to where it's just like a goo. I'm just going to take it and rub it in the direction of the grain. Okay. It doesn't look bad at all. Now we'll sand that down after it dries, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, let's do the same thing over here. See, we got splotches here. When we're done, that's going to disappear. All of the cracks that are in it disappear, and then the splotches disappear because it'll take it off all the way down to bare wood, and then we just smear the stuff around to make it even, and that, hey, restores the finish, so to speak. All right, that looks good. That looks really good. Okay, we go here. See, we've got the places where it's broken the wood. We got to take it down to where that is completely blended in. All right, see, it's all blended in perfectly. And here, blended in, that looks good. That all looks good. Once we get it sanded, it's going to be beautiful. Okay, do the other side. See, what I'm doing is taking the rag that has the stain in it, the goo, and I'm just going over this part that we stripped, and that just colors it to the same color as the rest of the box. That's all it takes. Okay, that side's done. That's good. That is perfect. Okay, now the front panel. Front panel doesn't have a lot broken through either. Got a little bit, but not a lot. We'll just liquefy it down. All right. All right, we got to let this dry completely before we can continue. Okay, this is all dried off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take some 200 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to lightly roughen up the surface. Not really taking anything off, I'm just breaking the glaze. Looks really good. right, that's very good. Very, very good. Okay, now we have to stain it. Okay, I'm using one that's called Special Walnut. It's a little bit lighter than dark walnut. All it does is it'll refresh the stain that's already on here, the finish that's already on here. A piece of felt. See, our Zenith and our console tone, it stayed there. We didn't sand it enough to wipe out those labels. It looks beautiful. The grain of the wood shows through just beautifully. Got that nice brown look to it. Oh, it looks beautiful. That's just really good. See, all the cracking that was in there is gone now. It has no cracks in the finish. That crazing that happens from age is all sanded out smooth. And yet we didn't take the finish off all the way to bare wood. There's a few places where we went all the way to bare wood, but the majority of it still has the original finish. They put a heavy, heavy coat on there so you can sand an awful lot of it off without going down to bare wood. Okay, that is absolutely just beautiful as can be. That is just gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to set that to where it can dry without getting dust on it. Turned out beautifully, absolutely beautiful. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the lacquer on it. It's been drying for 2 days. Alright. That looks good. Alright, we'll let that dry for an hour and then put the second coat. We have to take this bezel, it's made out of brass, and it's all, kind of corroded looking. We'll go ahead and take steel wool, fine steel wool, and buff it up first. Let's see, maybe a little coarse. I'm going to try some. That's doing it. This is coarse steel wool. We'll use the fine afterwards. Of course, it looks like it does a better job. When the radio was new, this was brass colored. It was just like brand new brass. Over the ages, it fades down to this kind of dull, corroded look. I've tried Brasso on this stuff. It has no effect at all. Brasso is, if you got something that just has the lightest little bit of tarnish on it, Brasso will work. But if it's something old and pretty much aged like this, the Brasso has no effect on it at all. It just, I think that probably the political correctness of making chemicals too strong for children to use has made it to where Brasso now is so weak that it's unusable. It's useless to even bother with it. Nothing will ruin the looks of the radio quicker than a dull, faded, old, corroded bezel. You want that to be beautiful. Okay, to clean this, we're going to use orange cleaner. This is some of the orange cleaner that you get. It's just a general purpose cleaner that you get at the hardware store. It's made out of orange peels. And it does real good at taking the old cigarette smoke and stuff like that off. The yellowing is on the very surface of the plastic. It's not through the plastic. It's on the very surface. You see how that stuff took it right off. But if you don't use the right cleaner, then it won't come off. Alright, to color the bezel, give it some patina, we're going to use Jacobine. This is just plain old Minwax cheap stain. And the color is Jacobine. It's a real dark brown. Okay, we're just going to take a little piece of felt and we just rub that on there. And that gives it a nice, beautiful, dark, brassy color. All right. Oh, that looks beautiful. It's just that got that kind of a dark brownish gold look to it. Okay. Now we let that harden, and then we go ahead and use urethane, clear urethane coating to protect it. Well, the cleaning of the original dial paint cloth did not work. The stuff was too stained in there. So we're going to use this stuff here. This looks really good. Alright, we'll get some double-sided stickum. It's using 45 stickum. Alright, we'll take and heavy coat. And okay, we're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to stick it together. All right, that's about 10 minutes. When you're putting your dial cloth on, make sure you do it the correct direction. This one here, this is the back of the dial, and this is the front. Okay, now we'll get a scissors and we'll trim it. All right, that gets our new dial cover, or not dial cover, but speaker cover, grill cloth cover. All right, that looks very good. The box is absolutely gorgeous. It's just beautiful as can be. Okay, now we got to put in this stuff here. All right, now this goes front. Okay, then. All right. Now, this piece of cardboard goes in here like that. Not really sure why. And then our nice piece of plastic fits down over those tabs. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to press firmly and then bend them down. That's one. Another one. You want to be in the picture? Hmm? You want to be in the picture? Yes, you could be the director or the star, movie star or the director, whichever one you want to be. All right, this thing ought to be hot enough now. Okay, now put it in the right position. Perfect. All right. Now we got some more stuff. These bottom feet are falling off. Okay. 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 So that gets our front stuff and our internal stuff. Here we have our knob. We got two knobs we got to buff up. Got some kind of dirt or something on them. We'll just take a wire brush. Okay, that gets our knobs cleaned up nicely. All right, we got our little Z here to clog up the screw-up hole. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of this glue here to hold it in. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks. Our screw-up is not as bad now that we've got that on there. Okay, we'll just let that harden and that's going to take care of it. Okay, let's plug it in. Turn it on. Okay.
Documents, I should say. We got these city records from another mayoral candidate, Mr. He'll be calling in next segment.
Elijah Race.
Health month. Take care of your health. So, Lotis Center's offering a $49.
Okie doke. That's it. Isn't that a beautiful radio? That is just gorgeous. See, that looks good. That looks real good. Okay.